Welcome to our weekly video. And this week we're going to be focusing on what we believe are the important things for this upcoming week for investors. So this week we're going to focus on three things. We're going to be talking about vaccines and the rollout and distribution of the vaccines. We're going to hear from Canadian banks. Our major Canadian banks will report earnings, and we're going to talk about this positive momentum coming out of November. And can this positive momentum and good feeling and reduction in volatility continue into the month of December? Well, I think vaccines continues to impact the markets in a positive way as we get closer to that day where individuals in the United States begin to receive the vaccine. To begin with, we're going to see people, frontline healthcare workers, perhaps teachers, anyone in the front lines that could be in come in contact with individuals with COVID-19. They'll probably receive the vaccine first as soon as the market starts to realize that this is actually happening. I believe this will have a tremendous positive effect on investors, on the stock market, and I think will help to make, a pretty good run throughout the last few weeks of 2020. Bank earnings kick off, I believe, on Tuesday with Bank of Montreal reporting earnings. If you look at the earnings that US banks came up with this past quarter, and if you could extrapolate, I think you're going to see some pretty good bank earnings here in Canada. I think banks are benefiting from higher interest rates, not necessarily higher interest rates on your mortgage or line of credit. I'm talking about 10-year government bond rates. As interest rates start to rise, banks tend to do better. And we've seen interest rates in the US creep up close to 1% now. We've seen interest rates in Canada creep up close to 0.7%. Still historically very low, but overall interest rates are higher. That helps the banks. I think overall we're also seeing a lot of mortgage activity. That definitely helps. We're starting to see banks, on the wealth management side, things are going a lot better now. And markets are higher. I think we're going to see good trading activity at the banks, whether it's on the fixed income side or even on the equity side. So I think banks could report pretty good earnings. I'm not saying that we're going to see any dividend hikes, but overall, I look forward to some solid earnings and the continuation of these bank stocks moving higher into the month of December. There always are these ups and downs throughout the days and the weeks, but overall, I look for a pretty solid and pretty good ending of the year. Perhaps we'll see a nice Santa Claus rally, as we often do see. There are definitely some seasonality effects at work here. We're going to see some positive markets, and I guess things will ebb and flow with the rollout and distribution of the vaccine. But overall, I think the market is poised to move higher. We are seeing some certainty now, more and more certainty with respect to the U.S. election. I think we're seeing more certainty with respect to COVID-19. And I think as that certainty, continues, the markets will continue to be positive. The volatility index is way down. This is the lowest volatility we've seen in many, many months, and that's good for the markets and it's good for investors.